Hey there, I hope you're well. I am Hiramoni and welcome to Get Set Global. Fashion. Most people say that fashion is instant language because it allows us to present ourselves in a way we want to be perceived without saying a word. Fashion is also a perfect vehicle to showcase art, culture, traditions, and history. My panel of guests for today's show, they're at the center of it all, either creating their own designs or showcasing the creativity of the designers by walking the ramp. There is a little bit more to it. These designers are also taking Assam silk, Assam textile to places, to the world stage, and their efforts to display Assam through fashion is remarkable. Let's find out from our guests how outsiders view Assam silk, how the fashion industry works, and what can designers and models do to reach out to the international market. Along with that, we will also get to know our guest a little bit more in person. So if fashion is about making people dream, then let's find out what these fashion makers dream of. So it's time that I invite my panel of guests for today's show. My first guest is joining us from Toronto in Canada, and she is Tara Puya. Hi, Tara. Can you
Namaskar.
hear me? Namaskar.
I'm good. Very nice. Good morning from Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, it's afternoon in the UK. In India, it's evening. So, yeah, lovely to have you, anyways. Let
Thank
me
you.
bring the let me bring the other guest as well. So my next guest is joining us from New York, and she is Madhulika Sharma. Hi, Madhulika.
Hi, Namaskar. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. Uh, my third guest is joining us from Assam, and she is Gorima Hoikia Garg. Hi, Gorima.
Hi, good evening, everyone,
Good
and thank you for
evening.
having me on board.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure. And we have got one more guest. Let me bring her as well. And she's joining us from Germany, and she's Himakshi Agarwala. Hi, Himakshi.
Namaskar, hello, and so nice to be with you ladies today.
Lovely. Thank you so much to each one of you. I think I can literally say this today that welcome my beautiful panel because prettiness overlaid it, I think, kind of a scenario today. But before we start, I think I'll just probably mute everybody. So yeah, that's that's great. Okay, so before we start, I would like to introduce all of you and the sort of work that you guys have been doing. So let me start with Gorima. So Gorima Hoikia Garg, she is a well-known fashion designer, a costume designer, also a film producer. She has produced the film Kanchanjunga in 2019, which was a blockbuster. Then she also produced Mission China in 2017 and Gane Kiane in 2016. Gorima is also a social and a cultural activist. And most audience notice that Gorima is the better half of Zubin Garg, sensation of Assam, and of course outside Assam too. So that's Gorima. Um, okay, so that's Gorima Hoikia Garg. Coming to Modelika Sharma. Now, Madhulika is saying she can't hear me. That's quite something. So, Madhulika, can I just say that you log out once and log back again? Um,
I can't seem to hear anyone.
can you hear now? No, okay. But I would come to Tara. So Tara Bhuya, she is a fashion designer based in Toronto in Canada. She's from Assam, from Guwahati, and She became a fashion designer in 2014, and before that, she was a banker. And she has done her fashion shows in New Jersey, Washington, D.C. She has been to Sydney in Australia as well for her shows. She has done a show in New Delhi, which was a huge success, and Assamese filmmaker, I think Rima
Hi,
Das was.
I'm back.
Great. She was the fashion stopper, I think, showstopper. So yeah, Tara is doing some really, really great work. We'll get to hear her very soon. Now, next up is Madhulika Sharma, and I really hope she can hear me now. Great. So Madhulika is also from Assam, from Guwahati. She's an international model based in New York. She's the face of many well-known international brands such as Christian Dior, MAC, Beauty, Blender, and so on. And she has worked with distinguished fashion designers like Sabyasachi, Manish Malhotra, and Tarun Tahliani, to just name a few. She has been the cover of magazines like Condé Nast Traveler, Cosmopolitan. She has been featured by Elle, Vogue, and Harper's Bazaar as well. And she has made her debut to New York Fashion Week 2020. So very well done, Madhulika, on that. And finally, we have got Himakshi Agarwala. She is also from Assam, from Tejpur, now lives in Germany. She is the winner of Not Femina Miss India East 2012. She's a former model, and her forte is catwalk and stage presence. So it's so wonderful to have you all. So I'll start with Gorima. So, Gorima, you have been in the fashion industry for a long time, has been a costume designer as well. So, did fashion designing happen to you? Like, was it accidental, or did you always want to be a part of fashion in some capacity? Let me unmute you first. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was accidental. I never thought I would be in fashion industry. খুব ঘটনাক্ৰমে হৈ যোৱা এটা ঘটনা। মই আচলতে মোৰ ইণ্টাৰেষ্ট আছিলে খুব বেছি, কিন্তু তেতিয়া মই নিজৰ কাৰণে কৰিছিলোঁ, এণ্ড আই ইউজ টু ডু ইট ফৰ মাই হাজবেণ্ড, কাৰণ সেইটো এটা মোৰ কাৰণে বহুত ভাল ৱে আছিল যে মই কিবা এটা প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰিব পাৰোঁ, যিটো মই এতিয়াও কৰোঁ। দেট ইজ দ্য ফিউজন অফ নৰ্থ ইষ্ট। আমাৰ যিখিনি ফেব্ৰিক আছে, যিখিনি আমাৰ বেলেগ বেলেগ ট্ৰাইবছ আছে, উই হেভ মোৰ দেন 100 ট্ৰাইবছ ইন নৰ্থ ইষ্ট। চ' তেওঁলোকৰ যিখিনি ইণ্ডিজিনিয়াছ যিখিনি বস্তু আছে, ফেব্ৰিক আছে, যিখিনি মটিভছ আছে, সেই বস্তুবোৰ লৈ মই ফিউজন কৰোঁ। গতিকে চ' দ'জ থিংছ আই ইউজ টু ডু ফৰ মাই চেল্ফ, ফৰ মাই হাজবেণ্ড এণ্ড আৱাৰ ক্ল'জ চাৰ্কেল অফ ফ্ৰেণ্ডছ সেইখিনি সময়ত। তেনেকৈ থাকোঁতে এদিন লণ্ডনৰ পৰাই, ইউকেৰ পৰা, হীৰামণি তুমিতো চিনি পাবা, ৰিণী কাকতি, তাত শ্বি ইজ কোৱাইট ৱেল ন'ন। তেওঁলোক আহিছিলে ইণ্ডিয়ান ছ'চাইটিৰ পৰা জুবিনৰ কাৰণে এটা শ্ব' কাৰণে কথা পাতিব আহিছিলে। তেতিয়া আমি মুম্বাইত আছোঁ, এণ্ড দে হেড চিন চাম প্ৰডাক্টছ ডেট আই হেড মেড, মানে হেণ্ডলুম, হেণ্ডিক্ৰাফ্টছ, এনেকুৱা কিছুমান বস্তু মই বনাই ঘৰত ৰাখিছিলোঁ। চ' সেইখিনি যেতিয়া তেওঁলোকে দেখিলে, তেওঁলোকে ভাল পালে। তাৰপিছত ক'লে যে ৱাই ডণ্ট ইউ কাম অভাৰ, জুবিনৰ লগতে আহা, তুমিও এটা এক্সিবিশ্যন কৰা তাতে। দেট ৱাজ ইন 2005। তাৰপিছত তেনেকেই মোৰ ষ্টাৰ্ট হ'ল। আচলতে মই ফাৰ্ষ্ট এক্সিবিশ্যনটো কৰিছোঁ লণ্ডন হাউচ অফ কমনছত, মানে একদম ক্ল'জ এটা চাৰ্কেলৰ মাজত। তাৰপিছত নেক্সটটো যেতিয়া শ্ব'টো হ'ল জুবিনৰ, কালচাৰেল শ্ব'টো হ'ল ইণ্ডিয়ান ছ'চাইটিৰ মাজত, তেতিয়া মোৰ এক্সিবিশ্যন কাম চেল এইটো মানে হ'ল, যিখিনি মই লৈ গৈছিলোঁ গোটেইখিনি খুব ভাল ৰেছপন্স পালোঁ। চ' দেট ৱে মই ভাবিলোঁ যে যেতিয়া ঘূৰি আহিছোঁ, যে এইটোৰ পৰা মই যেতিয়া ফাৰ্ষ্ট মোৰ ইনকামটো মই পাউণ্ডছত কৰি আহিছোঁ, চ' ৱাই ডণ্ট আই গিভ আ ট্ৰাই, এইটো ক্ষেত্ৰতে মই সোমাই চাওঁ। আৰু যিহেতু মোৰ কোনো ধৰণৰ ইনষ্টিটিউচনেল একো ট্ৰেইনিং নাই, চ' মই এতিয়া মানে সেইকাৰণে সময় বেছি দিব লাগে, মই নিজে ষ্টাডি কৰিব লাগে, বেছি মাৰ্কেট ষ্টাডি কৰিব লাগে, কি কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ ফেব্ৰিক্সবোৰ কেনেকুৱা ধৰণে আহি আছে, কি এতিয়া ব্লেণ্ডিং চলিছে, কেনেকুৱা ধৰণে, আৰু কাম কৰি থাকোঁতে আচলতে বস্তুবোৰ আহিও যায়, আমি তেনেকুৱা কানেকশ্যনো পাই যাওঁ। গতিকে চ' দেট ৱে মই মানে ঘটনাক্ৰমে সোমাই গ'লোঁ এইটো।
মই নাজানিছিলো যে প্ৰথম ফেশ্বন শ্ব' আচলতে লণ্ডনতে হৈছে. I had absolutely no clue. But I always knew that your creativity side is very strong. সেই বস্তুটো মোৰ সদায় লাগিছিলে. মানে কি মই I don't know you before fashion designing, but design দেখি সদায় লাগিছিল যে creative. But it's very nice to know that লণ্ডনৰ পৰা এইবোৰ চব আৰম্ভ হৈছে. So that's nice.
Last year তোমালোকক পালো ভালকে, so you were also a part of my show.
Yes, we were. Oh God, sorry about that, basically. But yeah. So coming to Madhulika, Madhulika, of course, you are an international model now based in New York, doing some great work as well. But you have also said that this was accidental, like, a modeling agency saw your Instagram picture and got in touch, and today you are here. So yeah, would love to hear your story, and also how did you get into the international side of modeling? So if you can talk about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, thank you again for having me. I am so pleased to be surrounded by people from my hometown, and to see all of you, come to an international pedestal is so inspiring. Like I said again, I was scouted by accident. I had absolutely no intent of being a model. I was going to Miranda House to study political science and economics. And, it was going to be a more conventional path of just, pursuing academics. And then I was spotted on Instagram because a friend of mine wanted to apply to design school, and he decided to click a few photos. And I happened to upload those photos. I was a skinny, lanky, scrawny, nerdy girl. And I had absolutely no confidence in myself before I entered this industry. I got scouted, and my mother and I decided together that, okay, fine, let's take the plunge. Let's see what it has to offer. Let's take the risk. So we did. We went to Bombay, and literally one of my first meetings was meeting the casting director at Balenciaga, right? And then moving forward, my second big job, which was my break, literally a week after, was for Fab India. And then I shot 6 consecutive seasons of Fab India through my entire college years. So I think I was put into the market at a right time. And they were appreciating a lot of young women from the northeast of India. They wanted to see brown skin being represented more in mainstream media. So I definitely commend the industry at that point of time for seeing potential in me. And yes, like I said again, it was completely accidental. The international thing also happened as I kept doing good work in India, and they decided that it was time for me to make a move abroad. Yeah.
Lovely. You know what I really like when you said that you had absolutely no idea, no confidence, but got into this and got here. And then I think people like you also kind of opened doors and roads for the next generation. That to me, someone like you from Guwahati can make all the way to New York, a brown-skinned girl, that there are possibilities, right? And
Absolutely.
I think I would still think that probably as a brown girl, we have to work harder. We have to prove every time. I know that's still discrimination, but there are possibilities. So
yes,
that's quite inspiring in itself.
Yeah, especially in an industry that is based around looks.
Yes.
If it were to do with something else which I could control, say like the way I present myself or the way I spoke, these are things that I can change. But when it comes to my look, I can't change my look every day. So when I am given a certain genetic code, I have to embrace it. So I think that's what happens. Yeah.
So, but you say that, you know what, fashion industry, I think, is more progressive than many other industries.
Absolutely.
Because it has opened up the market and the global platform like none other industries. So from that aspect, I think, much progressive. All right.
I remember messages from young followers saying that they feel so empowered to see a brown woman, just do well or be represented in mainstream media. So I think that's very honorary.
Absolutely, it is. Fantastic. I'll come back to you, Madhulika, with more. But I am going to Tara. So, Tara, you have also said that this fashion designing has happened accidentally to you. Aru, you were a model before, and then you moved to the banking sector. So you were a banker for a while, for a long time, I think, and then got back to fashion designing again in 2014. Uh, so what made you come back to your past love, Aru, the journey to becoming a fashion designer? Would love to hear that as well.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much, Himakshi Sharma, for getting me here, having me here. It's lovely to be with Garima, Madhulika, Himakshi.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. Very interesting to hear Garima also. We share the same path, I believe. And Madhulika, congratulations on your success. Himakshi as well. Um, I did start as a model. I was with Ritu Berry. That time, I did some of her debut shows in one of the most posh clubs in Cuff Parade in Mumbai. Then eventually, I was. That time we didn't have not much of cell phones. Just computers were there. So my parents insisted that I should do my academics. So Porhi Kuni Pillai, financials masters Kuri Pillai, and I moved to Dubai and then eventually for work to Canada. And yeah, for a long, long time I've been out of that. I've been in the financial sector, in the investment banking sector for over 24 years or 25 years. So yeah, I'm very glad that somebody approached me. It started from a small Bihu function in Toronto itself. That's how it started again, and I thought like it was all in me all this time, and I really wanted to do something on that to develop and to get our Mekhla Chador or Assam silk to the global level was my biggest aim, to get those weavers in to the market, to appreciate their work globally is a big thing for me. And I'm sure Garima will also be agreeing to the fact that Assam silk is really, really beautiful, and it played a major role in my journey. And I won't say success yet. It's like long way to go for me. Yes, my shows, I have done lots and lots of shows in the past 1.5 year in many countries, and a lot more to go to portray Assam silk. So it was not easy. It was not at all easy. Staying abroad for so many years and then having the cushy job, uh, going back to your basics, to the village. It was a lot of work from my side. But when there is a passion involved, you don't feel it's work at all. You feel it's fun every day. You're creating something every day. And when you see the ultimate piece coming out from our artisans in the village, that's when the peace of mind, that's when you start enjoying that, yes, I'm doing something right here. So it's all about when Madhulika said about brown skin. Fashion industry is very competitive, even in Mumbai. It was very difficult to cut throat, and getting to be the blue-eyed girl for Ritu Berry was not even a joke at that time. And I'm talking about 1990s. But it is very, very competitive, Madhulika. And Himakshi, you are the youth of the coming generation. So I just want to say here that don't give up, and you guys are doing so good. It is not about brown skin. Yes, the looks are very important in fashion, but I think when you include fashion in yourself, inclusivity, when we say exclusive, it's outside. When you say inclusive, it's us, it's inside you. If you can portray that, you are in.
Wow, what wonderful, Tara. So that's really wonderful. And of course, all the beautiful things you have said. But I think, like Garima said, I think you also had that passion for fashion there. Oh, that rhymes, passion for fashion. Yeah. So that was always there, but it just needed to come out. Aru, I have seen that, I have spoken to you before as well. You are so proud of Assam silk. You have said that I put in 18 hours a day in my work, but but it doesn't feel like work because that's your passion and because you love the Assam silk and everything around it so much more. So no, wonderful. Quite similar to what Gorima said. It just happened because you love the whole fashion side. So yeah, we'll come back to you with more questions, but let me come to you, Himakshi. So Himakshi, yeah, great. So again, I think there is a common thing going here because you have also said that whether modeling or winning the title of Miss India, nothing has. Okay, I'm going to meet you for a while because there's some noise. Yeah. So all of this had were not planned for, but it happened. So I obviously want to know how did it all happen, and also, you're the granddaughter of the legend, Jyoti Prasad Agarwala. So people who don't know him, he was a legend of his time. He was a distinguished poet, a writer, also flag bearer of Assamese culture. So from that background to modeling, how did that all happen?
Hi, everybody. First of all, I would like to mention that I feel honored to be a part of this collaboration of women that we have today who are so intelligent and good in what they do. And yes, I think that all of us are a series of fortunate, happy accidents today because none of us planned to do what we, ended up doing. So I was discovered in a model hunt in Guwahati. And at that point of time, I was not planning to be a part-time or full-time model. But I got a kind of attention for the catwalk, and then people started saying, like, you should take it seriously. And I thought, like, I was just like Madhulika mentioned, I was very awkward about myself. I was 18 at the time, and I was very much assured that a large percentage of people would probably consider me not conventionally beautiful. And as I gained more confidence, I just realized that yes, a large percentage of people may not find me conventionally good looking, and I have to be okay with that because somebody else's perception of me does not become me. It's just that perception. So, and then I finally gathered a bit of confidence, and I got invitation to audition for Miss India. And this was just a big accident because I was on a holiday in Kolkata and the auditions were happening in Kolkata. And I said, like, okay, this is a sign from the universe. I'm here and I should definitely go. Uh, I did not have proper heels with me. I did not have my modeling fancy clothes with me. I really borrowed a pair of old shoes from my sister and I went to the audition and I made it. And from the audition to like fast forward 2 weeks, I'm there. I won the title. And then they said, like, okay, we see you in Bombay in 3 months. And this was all just happening too fast for me. So, yeah, I would say keeping the whole story short, yeah, this is how my journey started. And then once I was there, I qualified as a finalist. And then people started recognizing me, appreciating my work. And then, yes, I shifted base to Delhi for better prospects. And yeah, one thing led to another, and here I am. And I must also want to, I want to make it known that I have been not actively working since 2018. So my last assignment was in Ibiza. It was in 2018, and that's how I temporarily took a break. So yeah, that's it.
Well, you have said that you are trying to settle down in the new life of Germany, aren't you? So that itself is a job. But lovely to hear. I think all the journey that you have mentioned, and I think you worked with in Assam. You have worked with Gorima as
See,
well.
I started out with designers like Garima Ba. It was an absolute honor to be in her show, to be her showstopper multiple times. I think I really, really enjoy that. And I really miss my crowd back in Assam, if I'm being honest.
Cool. So I'm coming back to Gorima now. So you have mentioned already how you did a show last year in the UK as well. So that was, I think, October 2019. And then you showcased your creations, designs, and all of that outfits. How was that UK experience for you? And Was there any learning from the UK experience that probably you would kind of keep in mind whenever you decide to do more international shows?
See, every time we go for some projects, for some work, we learn something new. New experiences always give something. So just before that, October London গৈছো, July Canada গৈছিলো, Vancouver যিটো আমাৰ কনভেনশ্যন আছিলে আছাম কনভেনশ্যন, তাত মই শ্ব'কেছ কৰিছো। শ্ব' কাম এক্সিবিশ্যন এনেকুৱা আছিলে। তাৰপিছত মই অলৰেডি 2008 পৰা মই খুব ভালকে মানে ফেশ্বনত মই সোমাইছো এইটো ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰীত আৰু শ্ব' কৰি আছো। তাৰ 2009 মই কষ্টিউম ডিজাইনত আহিলো। সেইটো এটা মানে চাইমালটেনিয়াছ এটা জাৰ্ণি মোৰ দুফালে। যেতিয়াই মই কোনোবা এটা শ্ব'ত গৈছো, মই ফাৰ্ষ্ট চাগে 2005 যিটো মই এক্সিবিশ্যন কৰিলো লণ্ডনত, সেইটোতো মোৰ কাৰণে এটা ডাঙৰ টাৰ্ণিং পইণ্ট। মই জীৱনত ফাৰ্ষ্ট টাইম কৰিছো, চ' দেট ৱাজ মাই ফাৰ্ষ্ট এক্সপিৰিয়েঞ্চ। এণ্ড সেইটোৰ পৰাই মই প্ৰথম শিকিছো যে কেনেকে মানুহৰ মাজলৈ যাব লাগে, এণ্ড হাউ টু প্ৰেজেণ্ট মাই অ'ন ক্ৰিয়েটিভিটি। মই যিটো ভাবিছো নিজৰ ভিতৰত কিবা এটা মই মানুহক দেখুৱাব বিচাৰিছো, চ' সেইটোৱেদি মানুহৰ মই কেনেকে ইম্প্ৰেশ্যনটো মই নিজে গেইন কৰিব পাৰিম বা সেই বস্তুটো কেনেকে চেলেবল হ'ব, সেই বস্তুবোৰ মই তেতিয়া আচলতে ৰিয়েলাইজ কৰিছো। আৰু মই ইমানেই ইনএক্সপিৰিয়েঞ্চ আছিলো, ইমানেই নতুন আছিলো এইটো ক্ষেত্ৰত, গতিকে সেইবোৰ বস্তু লাহে 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 শিকিছো। 2008 মই অসমলৈ আহি কাম ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিছো, আৰু তাৰ পিছৰ পৰা মই ৰ'ব লগা হোৱা নাই। ওৱান আফটাৰ ওৱান কিবা নহয় কিবা প্ৰজেক্ট আহিছে। ফাৰ্ষ্ট মই তেনেকে তাৰপিছত 2008 পৰা মই যেতিয়া ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিছো কণ্টিনিউছলি, মই এটা বেম্বু ফেষ্টিভেল, ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেল বেম্বু ফেষ্টিভেল কৰিবলৈ থাইলেণ্ড গৈছিলো। তাৰপিছত সেইটো এটা মোৰ ডাঙৰ এক্সপিৰিয়েঞ্চ আছিল, ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেল শ্ব' এটা কেনেকে কৰিব লাগে। চ' সেইটো ফাৰ্ষ্ট মই ৰেম্পত মানে কৰিছো। হিমাক্ষীয়ে চিনি পাই, সন্দীপ চাৰিয়ান আমাৰ খুবেই ফেভৰেট কোৰিঅ'গ্ৰাফাৰ। চ' তেওঁ হি ইজ দ্য কাইণ্ড অফ গুৰু ফৰ মি। তেওঁ মানে শিকাইছে মোক কেনেকে ৰেম্পত নিজক প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰিব লাগে এজ এ ডিজাইনাৰ, আৰু কেনেকে বস্তুবোৰ সদায় ৰেম্পত এনেকুৱা নহয় যে যিটো বস্তু মই উলিয়াই দিম চেল কৰিম, সেইটো বস্তুৱে তেনেকুৱা হ'ব লাগে। প্ৰেজেণ্টেশ্যনটো এটা বেলেগ বস্তু, আৰু চেল কৰিবলৈ যেতিয়া বুটিকত কিবা এটা মই ক্ৰিয়েট কৰোঁ, সেইটো এটা বেলেগ বস্তু। কিছুমান বস্তু ৰেম্পত অলপ বেলেগ ধৰণৰ হয়, অলপ এক্সট্ৰা অৰ্ডিনেৰী কিবা এটা কৰিব লগা হয়। কেতিয়াবা খুব বেছিকে আমি মানে যিমানখিনি দেখুৱাব পাৰি ড্ৰিমি এফেক্ট এটা দেখুৱাব লগা হয়। কেতিয়াবা কিছুমান অলপ মেজিকেল কিছুমান হেৰি কৰিবলৈ, এট্ৰেকশ্যন লাভ কৰিবলৈ এইবোৰ কৰিব লগা হয়। গতিকে তেনেকুৱা বস্তুবোৰ ৰেম্পত কৰিব লাগে কেনেকে, আৰু জেনেৰেলি কেনেকে মানুহৰ কাৰণে ক্লায়েণ্ট আহিলে কেনেকে ক্লায়েণ্টৰ লগত ডিল কৰিব লাগে, সেই বস্তুবোৰ মই বেলেগ বেলেগকে শিকিছো। তাৰপিছত ধৰা ডুবাই, ওমান, US বহুতকেইটা শ্ব' তেনেকৈ কৰা হৈছে। আৰু এভৰি টাইম আই গ' ফৰ চাম প্ৰজেক্ট, মই নিজে অলপ বেলেগ ধৰণে সেই এক্সক্লুচিভিটি যিটো কথা কোৱা হৈছে সেইটো অলপ ৰাখিবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰোঁ। আৰু যিমানখিনি আমাৰ নৰ্থ ইষ্টৰ যিটো তাৰাই কৈছে যে নৰ্থ ইষ্টত তেওঁ যেনেকৈ আছাম চিল্ক লৈ পেলাই খুবেই বেছি পেশ্যনেট, সেই বস্তুটো মোৰো ভিতৰত আছে। আৰু লোকেল আৰ্টিচানছখিনিয়ে কেনেকৈ কষ্ট কৰি কাম কৰে, নৰ্থ ইষ্টত সেইটো আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ কথা। বহুত বেছি কষ্ট কৰি কাম কৰি আছে, এণ্ড ৱাই বাট দে শ্বুড গেট, একচুৱেলি দে আৰ নট গেটিং ইট। যিমানখিনি তেওঁলোকৰ মাজত আছে, যিমান স্কিলছ আছে, যিমান ক্ৰিয়েটিভিটি তেওঁলোকৰ মাজত আছে, কিন্তু সেইখিনি তেওঁলোকে সিমান ভালকে পোৱা নাই। সেইটো ইকনমিকেলিয়ে হওক, যিকোনো ধৰণৰ এটা একচেপ্টেঞ্চ হওক, যিকোনো ধৰণৰ স্বীকৃতি হওক, সেইটো কিন্তু আমিও দিব পৰা নাই, আৰু আৰ্টিচানছখিনি সেইখিনি যিমান যেনেকে নহওক পাব পৰা নাই। গতিকে সেই বস্তুবোৰ চাব লগা হয়। আৰু আমি যদি যিমান ভিতৰলৈ গৈ থাকো নহয়, আদি নিশি অৰুণাচলত, মিজোৰামত, নাগালেণ্ডত এটা ট্ৰাইবৰ যদি বস্তুবোৰ আমি চাবলৈ যাওঁ, চবতে ইমান বেছি ইউনিকনেছ আছে, ইমান বেছি ভাৰ্জিনিটি আছে, ইমান বেছি মানে ভাইব্ৰেঞ্চ আছে, যে বস্তুবোৰ উলিয়াই আনি কেনেকে প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰোঁ সেই বস্তুটো লৈ পেলাই মানে কেতিয়াবা নিজৰ মাজতে এখন যুদ্ধ হৈ যায়। মানে এইটো প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰিম নে মই এইটো কৰিম, বিকজ উই হেভ লিমিটেশ্যনছ। আমাৰ খুব বেছি আমি 15টা 20টা আমি মানে দেখুৱাব পাৰিম এখন শ্ব'ত, কিন্তু সেই 20টা আমি কোনটো ল'ম, আৰু কাৰণ এটাতকে এটা দেখোন ধুনীয়া, এটাতকে এটা ভাল বস্তু, সেই বস্তুবোৰ আমি নিজে কিন্তু কৰি ল'ব লগা হয়। আৰু সেই বস্তুটো একেধৰণে যদি আমি ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেলি নিব বিচাৰোঁ তেতিয়া হয়তো একচেপ্টেবল নহ'বও পাৰে কাৰণ আমি যেনেকৈ এখন গেৰো পিন্ধা হয় মিচিঙৰ বা যেনেকৈ এখন গালে পিন্ধা হয় সেইটো ধৰণে হয়তো কানাডাৰ কোনোবা এজনে পিন্ধিবলৈ নিবিচাৰিব পাৰে বা জাৰ্মানীত কোনোবাই নিবিচাৰিব পাৰে সেই বস্তুটো তেওঁলোকে কেনেকৈ একচেপ্ট কৰিব সেই বস্তুটো কৰিব লগা হয় কিন্তু মই UK লাষ্ট যাওঁতে তুমি যেনেকৈ সুধিছা চ' সেইবোৰ বস্তু মই সদায় চাওঁ কোনোবা এখন নতুন ঠাইলৈ গ'লে যে কেনেকৈ মোৰ বস্তুটো মই একচেপ্টেবল কৰিব পাৰিম মোৰ বস্তুটো নহয় নৰ্থ ইষ্টৰ বস্তুটো কেনেকৈ মই উলিয়াই নি পেলাই কিবা এটা ধৰণে ভালকৈ প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰিব পাৰিম যিটো কাৰণে আমাৰ লোকেল আৰ্টিষ্টেন্স অন্ততঃ 5জন হ'লেও কিবা এটা লাভ তেওঁলোকে পাব পাৰে আৰু মই তেওঁলোকক নতুন কাম দিব পাৰিম তেওঁলোকৰ পৰা কিবা এটা উলিয়াব পাৰিম সেইখিনি এতিয়াতো মই সম্পূৰ্ণ উইমেন এম্পাৱাৰমেণ্টৰ ফালে মই নিজক ডাইভাৰ্ট কৰিছোঁ এনেকুৱা নহয় যে মই ক্লায়েণ্টক অকল মোৰ নিজৰ প্ৰডাক্ট বিক্ৰী কৰিম চ' মই এতিয়া উইমেন এণ্টাৰপ্ৰেনাৰৰ কাৰণে কাম কৰিছোঁ আৰু নতুন এটা আমাৰ প্ৰজেক্ট আহিছে আমাৰ পথাৰ আমাৰ বজাৰ চ'
আমাৰ কথাৰ আমাৰ
আমি
বজাৰ
লোকেলি যিখিনি বস্তু আমি প্ৰডাকশ্যন কৰিম সেইখিনি বস্তু চাইমালটেনিয়াছলি এখন বজাৰ ক্ৰিয়েট কৰি সেইটো কিমানখিনি আমি গ্ল'বেল তাক মানে একচেপ্টেঞ্চ দিব পাৰোঁ আৰু কেনেকৈ আমাৰ নিজৰ ইকনমিটো আমাৰ নিজৰ ভিতৰত আমাৰ নিজৰ ৰাজ্যখনৰ ভিতৰত আমি ৰাখিব পাৰোঁ আমি কনজিউমাৰ ষ্টেট নহয় বোলে আমাৰ নিজৰ ৰাজ্যখনক আমি কেনেকৈ ইকনমিকেলি আমি স্বাৱলম্বী কৰিব পাৰোঁ সেইটো ক্ষেত্ৰত আমি কাম কৰি আছোঁ এতিয়া
কি সুন্দৰ কথা কৈছা কাৰণ মানে আমি নিজকে কেনেকেনো সেলফ ইণ্ডিপেণ্ডেণ্ট কৰিব পাৰো তাৰ সেইটোৱেইটো আচল কনচেপ্ট আৰু তুমি যিটো কথা কাৰণ মই জানো যে তুমি খুব ট্ৰাই কৰা যে আৰ্টিজেন্স বিলাকক কেনেকে তেওঁলোকৰ যিখিনি সন্মান কামৰ যিখিনি তেওঁলোকে প্ৰাইড পাব লাগে সেইখিনি কেনেকে দিয়া যায় সেইখিনি মই দেখিছো তুমি সদায় কাম কৰি অহা কিন্তু আৰু যিটো কথা ক'লা এই যে how you sell in your shop and how you showcase in a fashion show is it a difference দেখুৱালে আৰু কেতিয়াবা যে কমাৰ্চিয়েলাইজেশ্যনটো অলপ প্ৰব্লেম হৈ যায় যে কানাডাত বা লণ্ডনত মানুহে সেই আৰ্টিজেন্স খিনি কেনেকেনো how they will take them I think এই বস্তু that's quite a different job in itself and more like you said last time when you were here because I have witnessed it people have loved it karon yat যেহেতু নাপায় চাদৰ মেখেলা দেখা নাপায় and a fashion designer coming here and showcasing on their doorstep I think absolutely people do love shows like that so obviously I think we should really try to do more but I could also
মই লণ্ডন যাওঁতে হিৰামণি মই সেইকাৰণে লণ্ডন যাওঁতে মই অকল মেখেলা চাদৰ লৈ যোৱা নাই মই জানো যে মোৰ শ্ব'ত গুজৰাটী কোনোবাই পাৰ্টিচিপেট কৰিব কোনোবা নৰ্থ ইণ্ডিয়ান আহিব চ' মই সেইকাৰণে শাৰী লৈ গৈছিলোঁ ইণ্ডো ৱেষ্টাৰ্ণছ লৈ গৈছিলোঁ লেহেংগা চুলি তেনেকুৱা ধৰণে বস্তুবোৰ আমাৰ ফেব্ৰিকবোৰেদি বনাই পেলাই লৈ গৈছিলোঁ যিবোৰ বস্তু তুমিও দেখিছা যে পটাপট কোনোবাই লৈ গুচি গৈছে যে ভাল পাইছে এইটো বস্তু মই ল'ম এটা গাউন তেওঁলোকে য'তে ত'তে পিন্ধিব পাৰিব আৰু তাতে ধৰা নৰ্থ ইষ্টৰ আমাৰ অসমীয়া টাচটো থাকিলে বা নৰ্থ ইষ্টৰ টাচটো থাকিলে এণ্ড ইয়াত ইট ইজ আ গাউন চ' তেওঁলোকে তাত যিকোনো এটা অকেজনত পিন্ধিব পাৰিব বা লেহেংগা চলি তেওঁলোকে যিকোনো অকেজনত দাণ্ডিয়া হ'লেও তাতে পিন্ধিব পাৰিলে তেওঁলোকে সেই ধৰণে মই প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰিবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰোঁ
I think very good concept অকল চাদৰ মেখেলা নহয় বেলেগ ধৰণৰ কাপোৰো অসমীয়া টেক্সটাইলেৰেনো কেনেকে বনাব পাৰে ইটস বিউটিফুল কনচেপ্ট আচলতে আহিম গৰিমা আৰু বহুত কথা পাতিব আছে but I'm coming to Madhulika now so Madhulika this is a question more for obviously the audience so tell me more how the international fashion industry works and how do they look for in a model আৰু যদি কোনোবা aspiring model in India or in Assam they want to reach out to international modeling agencies is there a possibility or do you think it is quite hard when to do that from some other country so what can they do Kikuba
Great question. Thank you for asking this. I'm to answer I've actually, because I've drawn a Venn diagram. In the diagram, I've basically said, I don't think it's visible, but so that you can picture it at least. It basically works as a concurrence of the model, the agency, and the brand. Tinta circles. And the overlapping area is where I come into play. Now, what happens is, as a model, I am highly dependent on my agency to portray me and push me for the best of the brands. It's more representation as globally. I have an agency in New York, in Bombay, in Paris, in London, everywhere. Now, the way they work is they will present me or pitch me for different jobs in different parts of the world according to the brand's idea of who they want to cast. Now, I know personally that I am not meant for, say, like a gothic look, but I'm more meant for like a beautiful spring look. So I think casting is heavily dependent on what the brand wants and how your agency pushes you. Having said that, Ohomapra Ulabole to come to an international market is very much possible if you have the right people working for you. You cannot do it solo. That's the other thing. নিজকে পুশ কৰি আনাটো খুব ডাঙৰ লেঠা, because then নিজকে ব্ৰেণ্ডলৈ প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰিবলৈ খুব টান. If you have a robust agency that will push for you and will work towards your image, then nothing like it. Indiaত দুই এটা খুব ভাল এজেঞ্চিজ আছে যোনে ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেলি খুব কাম কৰে, and মই নাম নলওঁ কাৰো, but then they are very important in presenting you for jobs globally. Internationally, it is much harder to break through, in my opinion, as an Indian person, because our look to racially অলপ ambiguous হয়. We can also look a lot like South Americans. We can also look a lot like the greater part of the Indian subcontinent. I mean, we could be Pakistani, Bangladeshi, from Sri Lanka. So our look is so racially ambiguous that casting becomes a little problematic until moi nije go like, okay, yes, I'm from Assam, I'm from India, and I explain to them where I'm geographically located, right? So I think on those lines, there does come a problem. But what I have learned is that it is most important to embrace your authentic self. Ajikali, social media is extremely important. It's crucial in making an image, in building an image. If you can leverage social media to your advantage, nijoke jodi present korba para as someone that has a unique voice, and it just doesn't matter. Ajikali, look is not the end all be all. If you have a cause that you're passionate about, your cause could be anything from women's rights to healthcare to education to the environment. If you have a cause that you're passionate about, if you can portray yourself as a personality that's fun to work with. No one wants a boring model on set. Everyone wants someone that's fun, vivacious, that's exciting. So if you have a story, you have to uphold it. If you have a look, you have to embrace it. So I think on those lines, the international market is definitely diverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I mean, you have put in effort because you have made a diagram and all sorts. So thank you for that. But I think what you're trying to say is that please make use of social media, have a voice, be authentic as much as you can. Yeah, and I think in today's world, is it right to say that it is not so difficult to get in touch with an international modeling agency because of the online nature, as long as you have got something to offer? Yeah, and like you said, it's not all about looks, but there is so much more to it. So why not explore it? Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And to keep versatility intact, you have to be, because modeling is silent acting, is what I always tell people. You have to emote with your eyes. I don't have a voice to offer, right? I mean, video I'm speaking. It's all visual imagery. So if you can act a certain way through the medium of your clothes, then nothing like it.
Yeah, so you kind of self-express yourself just through your clothes. Now, so you spoke about video, so that reminds me. Is there an option for modeling agencies যোনে ইমান দূৰত থাকে তেওঁলোকে যদি ভিডিও পঠাব খোজে? Is that an option? Is that open for agencies to look at videos of aspiring models to get a feel when they can't see face to face?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, কি হয় আজিকালি খুব remote casting হ'বলৈ ধৰিছে, especially online. Laura Swally, young people, young talents that want to join the industry can present themselves in a short video, talk about their skills, talk about their talents, and it's basically very, আজিকালি to sub digitalization is very prevalent.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's very
Good.
much
Awesome.
possible. Yeah.
All possible. Great stuff. Okay, thanks. um, Coming to Tara. So Tara, okay, let me unmute you first. Yeah, great. So everything that you do, you try and use Assamese silk, both for Western as well as traditional outfits. So is it mostly among the community, Assamese community or global Assamese community, or outsiders also kind of really appreciate, are interested in Assam silk? So I want to get a vibe, how outsiders kind of take Assam silk, and what's been the response like internationally for your kind of products?
That's a great question. Assam silk is what made me, actually. Truly speaking, nothing else. You have seen me dressed up today. I normally don't. I'm normally in my shorts and t-shirts. But I made the effort to wear this beautiful Muga silk. It's a hand down from not only my mom's mom, my grandmother, more aitar পৰা আনিছো. ইমান ধুনীয়া কাপোৰযোৰ নেদেখাইনো কেনেকে নেদেখাও নহয়, ইমান ধুনীয়া কাপোৰ। মই চাগে এইখন 30 বছৰৰ ওপৰত মোক মায়ে দিছিলে, আৰু I'm so proud to wear it today. I did wear it once or twice in between, chance নাপাওঁ পিন্ধিবলে, so আজি পিন্ধিবলে chance পাইছো কাৰণে পিন্ধি ওলাইছো ৰাতিপুৱাই।
তাকে ক'ব ওলাইছিলো মই, তোমাৰ 9:30 বাজিছেহে ৰাতিপুৱা, 8টা বজাতে চাদৰ মেখেলা পিন্ধিব লগা হৈছে। Thank you so much for the effort. No, really, and you look lovely.
Yeah, no, thank you. Like, I really want to make this effort because I mean, basic chance napao pinhibole, as I said, and etia to lockdown homoy to arwe eku nai. So, yeah, as I said, like clothes like these are the rarest silks in the world. Muga silk kwa, Assam pat ba eri silk amar iman dhunia. So these are all English to come, karan more audiences is globally. And তুমি যেতিয়া কৈছিলা অসমীয়া মাজতে নেকি, নহয় অকল অসমীয়া মাজত নহয়, মোৰ বেছিভাগ clientele, my whole audience is based on non-Assamese and Assamese, of course. অসমীয়াটো আছেই মোৰ লগত, কিন্তু বাহিৰা মানুহে এই কাপোৰবোৰ মোক খুব বেছি appreciate কৰে, because আমি দেখি দেখি সৰুৰে পৰা ডাঙৰ হৈ আহিছো. We grew up with these garments, মুগাৰ মেখেলাই কোৱা, এৰি চিল্কে কোৱা, but we grew up with this. But the people who has never seen these type of silks, they actually appreciate and accept, aru iman besi bhal pai amar kapurbur. They say like, moi jeneke koisu, I didn't have to do anything. Amar kapur bilake iman dhunia যে একোৱে কৰিব নালাগে দেখোন। ফ্যাশন শো এখনত গলেও you can just throw up any clothes and it looks so gorgeous on its own. I don't have to do anything on that. Yes, little bit of colors. Yes, I'm a color maniac. Like I love to groom people, and I learned it when I was very, very young. Actually 17, when I was 17, I used to choreograph fashion shows in Mumbai for the university and outside university, and that's how Riti Berry picked me from there. So choreography was in me all the time, and color coordination of the garments. That's all I had. So now, when you said appreciation, yes, it is thoroughly appreciated from anywhere from Bangkok to Nepal to Australia to New Jersey, California, you name it. Kot more audience nai. Iman bhal lage. Ohomia, non-Assamese, yare manho, Europeans. Lots of Europeans are my, lot of British are my clientele. They buy mekla chadar as is, or I make something that looks good on them. I love to make something out of Assam silk. Something, anything. Can be a sari, can be a Catholic gown. More Catholic gowns for khub bikri hoy Italian weddings pilakot. They love it. They love that silk. It is the richness. As you can see, as I'm speaking, the richness itself, like it throws me away every day. It surprises me. It's kind of surprises me every time I see something new. It just, I know that this will look good on anybody who wears it.
Yeah.
And one
I
particular thing I want to mention, sorry, I didn't want to cut
That's
you
good.
off, that Assamese mekla chadar, the two-piece dress that we have, traditional, that actually is very figure hugging, if you have noticed. It really gives you a beautiful uh, portray of yourself. ইমান ধুনীয়া দেখি আমাৰ মেখেলা চাদৰযোৰ পিন্ধিলে two piece but yet so convenient to wear and very light and rich looking. Our silk is very light and very rich, if you have noticed, compared to any other silks in the world. I think
Yeah,
that's
and
where we are apart.
exactly. And I was also thinking this, in our silk, the natural luster, more you wear, it increases. Wash and wear, the luster, it keep increasing, which is unlike any other silk. You wouldn't get anything like it.
কাপোৰযোৰ মই 5 বাৰ মান ধুলো,
Mm,
নিপিন্ধাকে ধুই থাকো, কিন্তু soft হৈ গৈ থাকে.
exactly.
Such a beauty that it gets more prettier as you wash.
Yes. আৰু আমি যদি sustainable fashionৰ কথা কওঁ, there is nothing like Assam silk, because look at the durability, it goes forever. So I think that's
This is
another
something
thing.
like many years old, the one I'm wearing. Many,
Yeah,
many
yeah,
years.
yeah. You
আৰু
see
সেই
this from
পাইবোৰেও পাবলৈ দিগদাৰ, শিপিনীবোৰো একে ধৰণৰ হৈ থকা নাই। সেইটো মোৰ বহুত অলপমান সময় গৈছিলে মোক শিপিনীবোৰ ট্ৰেইন কৰিবলৈ ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেলি, যোনটো মানে শিপিনীবোৰ খুব ধুনীয়া কাম, no doubt about it. But I had to really go through the nitty-gritty details of getting them the polished work that is internationally, in an international global level, where Assamese, non-Assamese, European, Jopra, Indians, anywhere in the world should be appreciate the fact that, okay, we have some kind of standard, internationally standard products here. মানে পলিশিং খিনি অলপমান কৰিব লগা হৈছিলে, বাট সেইটোত অলপমান কষ্ট গৈছিলে 2019 or beginning of the first 6 months and 2018 or two. But you know what? They are such beautiful weavers that their love is in those garments now. That's what comes out every time.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful, Tara. Aru, it's so nice to hear that everybody, all your clients from across the world, embrace Assam silk. I think everybody would feel so proud, including the panel of guests as well. I want to also know that difference you just touched upon, how the India fashion market and international market works, but I'll come to that in a minute. I want to ask Himakshi for now. So you must have had to learn various things about modeling as you found yourself, getting more involved in the field of modeling. So from your experience, what would you like to share, or what tips, advice would you like to give to the aspiring models, which can help in their grooming? So what would that be?
Thank you for this question, because I think you know that I also groomed aspiring models very briefly, but I did that for a couple of months in Guwahati and also in Delhi. I've freelanced as a grooming expert with some agencies. And the first advice which I would like to give is to see, I think Madhulika can attest to this fact that there are so many subcategories within modeling. Yeah. And the first step would be to find out which category you probably want to focus on, because let's face it, you cannot fit into everybody's idea of sellable. You may not be sellable for some brands, and then you might be, the muse for another person. So like for me, I knew the first thing that I probably will not make a good high fashion editorial model, because I do not have the sharp features which you need for that. So my features are more soft, and I was more present on the ramp. So I focused on that. And of course I did photo shoots and other shoots, but my forte, or my main focus to improve myself, was on the ramp. And when I started grooming newcomers, the first thing I told them was this, that you need to choose the category where you want to sell yourself. And then the second thing would be to work towards that category, because if you say that you want to be a model but you are not the required height, for example, but maybe you have a striking face, so you need to know that, okay, I disregard this category and I'm going to focus more towards print shoots. Or you want to be a video model, you want to do commercials, or you want to be an anchor. So this is usually my first tip towards newcomers. And the second one would be to find out your weaknesses and your strengths. And what you think is your weakness may not necessarily be your weakness, because some people think like, oh, I have like unruly hair, and then the casting director goes there like, okay, I want your hair because I want to sell this thing, and you are the perfect fit. So what according to you is a weakness, be it your hair, or maybe a mole, or your freckles, or a gap in your teeth, this could all be turned into strengths. So that's rule number 2, which I usually tell everybody, like, find your weaknesses and try to highlight them as your strength if you can. And the third would be, like Madhulika mentioned, that it's always good to have a strong agency backing you up. I partially freelanced for a long time, but then I found out like, okay, agencies do push you, and you catch that extra attention when you have a strong reference. So that's that. So that would be the last step, that once you have worked on yourself, you know what category you want to specialize in, you know your weaknesses, which are also your strengths, and then you can approach an agency to represent you in a way where you would like to be, the way you would like to be perceived to the market. So this would be my points.
Wonderful. I think you have really done this, like it's quite packed with lots of
And one last
information.
thing that I would
That's
like to
really
add is
useful.
that you
Yeah, go
don't
ahead.
need to be, for example, some people think that, okay, in order to be a model, I need to speak fluent English, or I need to speak very well. That's partially true, but partially not true, because unless you're a pageant horse, or you want to be there on the stage, or you want to do videos where you are required to sell something, you do not, most of the times, you do not need to speak. So
Yeah.
not necessarily you need to speak good English or good Hindi for that matter. Sometimes you can just be mute and be a model.
That's a great tip. Now, I wanted to know this also. Is it true that, of course, when you approach a modeling agency, you got to have your photos ready, headshot and stuff? Is it true that an agency actually do not look for a picture with too much makeup, a lot of hair done, or photo touching? They actually want to see you raw so they can make a variety of look. Is that true?
I have to say this because it is true today, in today's time, and minus 4 years. 4 years. It started slowly that agencies wanted to see the more raw you, the you without any filters or makeup. And
Yeah.
when I started, it was 2009. And those were the times of heavy bouffant that, in your portfolio, you got a bouffant, you got the wing liner and stuff like that. And I did not see the point of it back then, but that was the way to do things in 2009 to 10, even in the 2011, 12. And then slowly there was this transition, because the photographers started noticing like, okay, this is not how the model looks like in real life. So you send your portfolio for a casting, they select you, then you show up for the shoot. Say, oh, your eyes are slightly Asian. And yeah, okay, but that was my portfolio. And they couldn't figure it out because you had too much makeup on. So nowadays, it is it is in fact a requirement to send your portfolio, which is minimally retouched. You probably just need to put on a tank top and, send your, how you call it, the set card, the comp card that, you need to have
The
this.
digital.
Yeah. And in my time, it was quite different. But I wish I started now, because, nowadays we have Instagram. And nowadays you can, just be visible very easily.
Yes.
And in my time, when we started in 2009, 10, yeah, you had to do it the traditional way. I just say that I got lucky, but yeah, but nowadays I really do see the difference, the change, and also the way that it is becoming more and more accepting. In my times, we hardly saw plus size models. And now we are beginning to accept more of the curvy female form. And I think that's a very positive change. And it is much easier now to be a model and be included in a variety of brands. That's what I would like.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
love
add
that.
something here, if you
Go
don't
ahead.
mind.
Go ahead.
For selecting models, because I select with the organizers, obviously. And just to say, when I select models, suppose in Australia or India, Jute Nohok, what you said is I keep a mix now. I keep a mix of natural looking women or men. I'm doing mostly for women now. And of course, I want those like Madhulika and Himakshi, how they look. That look is very important to portray on the dresses, but I still keep a mix now of when you said a little healthier or more natural women looking and not model looking. I know with a model, my dresses would obviously look the best, but it should also look good in anybody who wears my dresses. That's
Yeah.
my motto behind keeping a mix of models always. Whether it's anybody, any friend of mine who wants to join, they can be a model in my show in any part of the world, because I want those ladies to really look beautiful on what they are wearing. That's the real people who are wearing. Of course, it's not that Madhulika and Himakshi is not real. I'm saying I will be more than proud to have those guys in my show. But then again, yes, I would prefer mix of models nowadays.
That's the
Where
one.
that's where
I
everybody
might want to
has
quickly
to be
butt
there.
in. Yes, go ahead. No,
Yeah.
no, go ahead, please.
No, go ahead. I'm done actually. Madhulika, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to quickly button and add that I'm 5'9", I'm 176 centimeters. Sorry, I'm 176 centimeters, and I have met the headquarters. I met the casting directors for YSL to Fendi to Givenchy to Zimmerman, Sismojan, everyone. And what I have noticed is that sample size is still very revered by a lot of the brands in Paris. So I think the European standard is still, size 0 to 2 in a way. But in the US and definitely in London, it's taking a drastic change. So I'm assuming that market by market, changes are going to happen for the better. But we're catching on to it slowly.
Yeah.
Some of them
I
still
think
want 5'10" and really tall, really lanky. Like, I understand, because I think it's also like carrying on the legacy of the house. Like Louis Vuitton will never cast someone that is extremely commercial looking, or I mean, even like for the biggest of models, right? Like Kendall Jenner's or Gigi Hadid's, they'll never cast those girls. They cast street based. They cast people that are cool, raw, authentic, that have never had limelight on them before. So I think casting itself is a double-edged sword.
It's very important.
Yeah.
For any show to be successful,
Yeah.
especially live shows.
Yeah.
The live shows are very difficult. And there was a girl who approached me. She was 5'2" in height. And I was skeptical, like, will she be able to wear one of the dresses that I have? But then she was so passionate in modeling, so I just took her in. She was looking glamorous. You just have to make them tall enough. It's about the girl is there. She's there. As Madhulika said, genetically, you can't change your look. Like, it is who you are. But it's the designer who can come up offer a plate, right? And make the person look taller than she is. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And Tara, I would like to quickly add that you are so right. I think as a model, I have so much to say about designers trying to change the status quo. If designers or if stylists don't see inclusivity on the runway or in shoots and advertising campaigns, then there's no way for us to feel represented.
Absolutely.
I think as designers who know that, okay, the sample size of 0 to 2 must be discarded, and we should also dress women between sizes of 10 to 16, or women who are shorter, women who are curvier, women who are leaner. I think the ball really lies on the designers' courts.
Yes.
Totally. Who else will change this, isn't it? Yeah. But no, thank you so much for bringing this up, because this is, I think, a really important issue in today's world. But because I'm running out of time as always, so I'll go to Gorima now. And Garima, what is your style? So, basically, fashion is fluid for people. People have different views, different opinion. How do you view style or fashion? And do you think inequal organic is a fashion should be age appropriate, or do you encourage people to just experiment with fashion? So, what's your view?
Yeah,
Hunana,
that's a great thing to discuss actually. As Hunisa এতিয়া?
এতিয়া শুনিছো.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Uh, yeah, it's a great thing to discuss actually. As Tara and Madhulika had just mentioned, যেনেকে কৈছে, শুনিছানে? ভালকে শুনি আছা?
পাওঁ এবাৰ
যে এইটো কথাটো হৈছে আমি কেনেকে ডিজাইনাৰে কেনেকে এটা ডিজাইন কাৰবাৰ ওপৰত according to personality, according to her body structure, complexion, সকলোখিনি চাই পেলাই কেনেকে ডিজাইন কৰে, that is very important actually. আৰু কোনটো সময়ত কোনটো ডিজাইন পিন্ধিব, কি অকেজনত পিন্ধিবলৈ গৈ আছে, বছৰটোৰ কোনটো সময়ত পিন্ধিব, which season it is, what time of the day it is, কেনেকুৱা সময়ত পিন্ধিব, কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ মানুহৰ মাজলৈ যাব, according to that person's personality, এই গোটেই কথাবোৰ আচলতে চোৱাটো দৰকাৰ। যেনেকে তাৰাই কৈছে যে 5'2" হাইটৰ এজনী ছোৱালীক কেনেকে how to look her taller than her actual height, সেই বস্তুবোৰ আমি আচলতে কেনেকে কৰিব পাৰো, সেইটোহে মোৰ কাৰণে ফেশ্বন। আৰু মই কোনোবা আজিকালি বহুত এনেকুৱা হৈছে যে see Aishwarya Rai, she worn this on the red carpet, এটো এনেকা পিন্ধি গৈছে, মোকো এনেকুৱা এটা বস্তু বনাই দিয়া। আৰু এতিয়া ৰিসেন্টলি এখন সিনেমাত এনেকুৱা ব্লাউজৰ ডিজাইন আহিছে, এইটো বস্তু আহিছে, মোক এইটো বনাই দিয়া। But that is not fashion according to me. মই ভাবো যে মাৰ্কেট ট্ৰেন্ড এটা ফলো কৰাটো ফেশ্বন কেতিয়াও নহয়। মই একচুয়ালি মই নিজৰ ভিতৰৰ পৰা মই বিলিভ কৰো এজন ব্যক্তিয়ে মানে whether she be a lady or a man or a boy or a young girl, যিয়ে নহওক, তেওঁলোকে কেনেকে নিজৰ পাৰ্সোনালিটিটোৰ সৈতে কেনেকে নিজে যি পিন্ধিছে সেইটো কেনেকে ক্যাৰি কৰিব। এনেকে হ'ব নালাগে যে মই কিবা এটা পিন্ধিছো, এই বস্তুটো লৈ মই কনসিয়াস হৈ আছো, মানুহে গম পাইছে মই কিবা এটা পিন্ধিছো, মই কিবা এটা ডিজাইনাৰ ওয়্যাৰ হওক বা যেনেকে হওক মই নতুন কিবা এটা পিন্ধি আহিছো, সেই বস্তুটো লৈ তেওঁ খুব বেছি কনসিয়াস হৈ আছে, খুব বেছি মানুহৰ আগত দেখুৱাবলৈ তাৰ বা আনকমফৰ্টেবল হৈ আছে, এনেকুৱা হ'ব নালাগে। আমি যেনেকে নিজৰ স্কিনখন আমি ক্যাৰি কৰো, তেনেকে আমি এটা গাৰ্মেন্ট আমাৰ আউটফিটটো আমি তেনেকে ক্যাৰি কৰিব পাৰিব লাগে খুব ইজিলি। আৰু সেইটো যদি আমাৰ নিজৰ যেনেকুৱা আমাৰ পাৰ্সোনালিটিটো হয় বা সময়টো, অসমীয়াত এটা কথা আছে না, স্থান কাল পাত্ৰ বুলি এটা কথা আছে, সেইটো যদি আমি ভালকে চাই ল'ব পাৰো, তেতিয়াহ'লে সেইটোহে আচলতে ফেশ্বন হয়। মই বহুত ক্লায়েণ্টক এনেকে মই ক'ব লগা হৈছে যে দিস উইল নট লুক গুড অন ইউ, তোমাৰ কাৰণে এইটো এপ্ৰপ্ৰিয়েট নহয়, এই বস্তুটো এনেকুৱা ঠিক আছে, এনেকুৱাই হ'ব, কিন্তু ইয়াতকে অলপ এনেকুৱা চেঞ্জ কৰি দিলে তোমাৰ কাৰণে এই বস্তুটো বেছি ভাল হ'ব।
কি ধৰণৰ ৰিঅ্যাকচন আহে যেতিয়া ক্লায়েণ্টক ক'ব লগা হয়?
কেতিয়াবা কিছুমানে অকণ বেয়া পায়, বেয়া পালেও কথাটো বুজাব লগা হয় যে কি সেই সময়টোত সেই ঠাইত বা সেই সময়টোত তেওঁ নিজৰ মতে কেনেকে গ'লে দিগদাৰ হ'ব, কি হ'ব পাৰে। কেতিয়াবা কিছুমান এনেকুৱা থাকে যে তেওঁলোকে এডামেন্ট হৈ আহে যে নহয় মোক এইটোৱে লাগিব, এইটো মোক ভাল দেখিব, কিন্তু সেই বস্তুটো বুজাই দিলে ভালকে তেতিয়া বুজি পায়। আৰু এইজটো চাব লাগে, মানে সেইমতে আৰু গোটেইখিনি বস্তু চাই পেলাই যদি কৰা হয়, তেতিয়াহ'লে নিশ্চয় তেওঁলোকেও বুজি পাব ভালকে বুজাই দিলে। আৰু মোৰ কাৰণে ফেশ্বনটো আচলতে সেইটোৱে, মই ভাবো যে নিজৰ পাৰ্সোনালিটিটো খুব ভালকৈ ক্যাৰি কৰিব লাগে, ব্যক্তিত্বটো খুব ভালকে যেতিয়া ফুটাই তুলিব পাৰি, সেয়াই আচলতে ফেশ্বন। আৰু নতুনত্বটো থাকিবই লাগিব। অলপ সকলোৱে যেতিয়া কোনোবা এগৰাকী ডিজাইনাৰৰ ওচৰলৈ যায়, তেনেহ'লে ডেফিনেটলি দে উইল want that exclusivity, কিবা এটা বেলেগ, আনতকে বেলেগ। আৰু ডিজাইনাৰ ওয়্যাৰটো অকমান হলেও প্ৰাইচটো হাই হ'ব, তেওঁলোকে সেইমতে অলপ বেলেগ এটা কিবা বিচাৰি আহিবই নিশ্চয়। গতিকে সেইটোও দিব লাগিব, তাৰ লগতে তেওঁলোকে যাতে খুব ধুনীয়াকে নিজক ক্যাৰি কৰিব পাৰে আৰু আনৰ চকুত বেলেগ এটা নেদেখি সেই বস্তুটো আমি মানে খুব বেছি কেয়াৰ ল'ব লাগিব। সেইকাৰণে সেইখিনি বস্তু মই খুব ভালকে চাওঁ, মোৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত মই সেইটোৱে কথা কওঁ। আৰু যেতিয়া মই কষ্টিউম কৰোঁতেও সেইটোৱে আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ কথা যে এটা ক্যাৰেক্টাৰ মই কেনেকৈ ফুটাই তুলিব পাৰো। কাৰণ তেওঁ আহি হয়তো ডায়লগ এটা নক'বও পাৰে বা তেওঁ বডি লেংগুৱেজেদি তেওঁ কোন হয় সেই কথাটো নাজানিব পাৰে প্ৰথম দেখিব তেওঁৰ মেকআপটো আৰু তেওঁৰ কষ্টিউম চ' সেই কেৰেক্টাৰটো মই কেনেকৈ ফুটাই তুলিব পাৰিছো আৰু এইটো সদায় বেলেগ বেলেগ মাধ্যমত বেলেগ বেলেগ মিডিয়ামত বেলেগ বেলেগ এখন চিনেমাত বেলেগ হ'ব সদায় বেলেগ হ'ব এখন এমেচাৰ থিয়েটাৰত একদম বেলেগ হ'ব এখন মোবাইল থিয়েটাৰৰ কাৰণে বেলেগ হ'ব গতিকে গোটেই কেৰেক্টাৰখিনি যেনেকৈ প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰা হয় সেইমতে বেলেগ বেলেগ হয় সেইমতে মানুহৰ ৰিয়েল লাইফতো সেই এটা এটা কেৰেক্টাৰ বা এটা এটা পাৰ্চনেলিটি প্ৰেজেণ্ট কৰাটো এটা ডাঙৰ কিন্তু চেলেঞ্জ এইটো আমাৰ কাৰণে আৰু ফেশ্বন এটা ক্ৰিয়েট কৰিবলৈ নিজৰ ট্ৰেণ্ড এটা ক্ৰিয়েট কৰিবলৈ সেইটো মই ভাবো অলপ ইজিয়াৰ হয় কাৰণ নিজৰ মাজত সেই ফ্ৰীডমটো আছে কিন্তু যেতিয়া এটা কষ্টিউম ডিজাইন কৰিব লগা হয় নহয় তেতিয়াহ'লে গোটেই টিমটো বা ডাইৰেক্টৰৰ ভিউটো আমি প্ৰথম কথা চাব লগা হয় দেট ইজ দ্য মষ্ট ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট থিং ডাইৰেক্টৰ কেনেকুৱা ভিজন আছে আৰু তাৰপিছত ডাঙৰ কথা হ'ল যদি এখন পিৰিয়ডিকেল প্লে হয় বা পিৰিয়ডিকেল এখন চিনেমা হয় তাত সেই কেৰেক্টাৰটো আচলতে কেনেকুৱা আছিল সেইটো বহুত ডাঙৰ ষ্টাডি এটা আৰু যদি মডাৰ্ণো হয় তেতিয়াহ'লে সেই কেৰেক্টাৰটোৱে কি ডিমাণ্ড কৰিছে কি দেখুৱাবলৈ গৈ আছে মানুহৰ মনত কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ এটা ইম্পেক্ট পেলাব লাগিব সেই গোটেই বস্তুটো আমি চাব লগা হয় তাৰপিছত থাকে আকৌ ইনডোৰ নে আউটডোৰ কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কালাৰ আমি ইউজ কৰিব লাগিব কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ লাইট DOP মানে ডাইৰেক্টৰ অফ ফটোগ্ৰাফী যিজন থাকিব চ' তেওঁ কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কালাৰ কম্বিনেশ্যনৰ কথা ভাবিছে কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ লাইট ইউজ কৰিব আৰু মোবাইল থিয়েটাৰ বা আমাৰ এনেকুৱা যিবোৰ মাধ্যম আছে অসমত সেইবোৰতো বহুত লিমিটেড হয় তাত এখন তোমালোকে যদি চাইছা মোবাইল থিয়েটাৰ তেতিয়াহ'লে দেখিছা এখন কালাৰ পেলেট এখন থাকে লাইটছৰ ৰেড গ্ৰীণ য়েল্ল' সেইকেইটা কালাৰ ব্লু সেইকেইটা কালাৰ এটা চকা এটা থাকে সেইটো ঘূৰাই থাকে যেতিয়া গান চানবোৰ হয় নহয় তেতিয়া এনেকুৱা ঘূৰাই থাকে সেইটো তুমি যদি ভাবা যে ডাৰ্ক ব্লু ৰয়েল ব্লুটো খুব বেছি এনেই গৰ্জিয়াছ লাগিব এইটো কেৰেক্টাৰ কিন্তু ৰয়েল ব্লুটো কেতিয়াও ৰয়েল ব্লু হৈ নাহে মোবাইল থিয়েটাৰ সদায় সেইটো কফি কালাৰ হৈ যাব নহয় কেতিয়াবা ডাৰ্ক পাৰ্পল হৈ যাব গতিকে এই বস্তুবোৰ সদায় চাব লগা হয় যে মোবাইল থিয়েটাৰত আমাৰ একদম লিমিটেড কেইটামান কালাৰহে আমি ইউজ কৰিব পাৰোঁ চিনেমাত তেনেকুৱা হয় ইনডোৰ নে আউটডোৰ কেনেকুৱা সময়ৰ কাৰণে হয় গতিকে সেই বস্তুবোৰ বহুত বেছি মানে চেলেঞ্জিং হয় Tara,
Wow.
Tara wants to say something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
we are running out of time. Garima very well said. The opportunity just about the age. Age is just a number, right? We have to look beautiful as we gracefully as we age. From Madhulika Sharma, one of the beautiful women I still admire. Of course, not just because she's my mom, but she taught me how to always dress well in life. That is so important. I think she's close to 80, but she still takes care of her skin. Wherever now, it's to lockdown, I say, but whenever she steps out of her house or inside the house, she is always the best dressed lady I've ever seen. She will always keep her postures, she will always keep her dress. Well dressed. And I think that is the fashion. Doesn't matter what age factor it's come across, you have to be your best.
But I think
every
what
day.
also Garima, yeah, no, absolutely. I think what also Garima said, I think that has got so much weightage there. What's your personality? তাতকে যদি বেলেগ ধৰণৰ ফেশ্বন কৰিব যোৱা it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, I suppose. আৰু it's also about the mood, নহয় জানো? আমি সৰু থাকোঁতে we used to like wearing dresses because we're in the fairy tale. When you're a teenager, you like ripped jeans because you're a rebellion. So I think কেনেকুৱা feel karo, what's the mood we have from inside. I think that also determines what we wear. But yeah, such beautiful things are coming out. I'm so super pleased, seriously. Time comes, so I have a quick round of questions for you. So I'll come to Madhulika. So Madhulika, everybody wants to know, obviously. So what's your go-to style mantra? And if someone has to look like, presentable, let me just, I think, mute everybody. So if someone wants to look presentable all the time, what would be your top tips? What would you say? Let me, go ahead.
First, sorry for the change in background. More for not charge. Go ahead.
Okay,
So kind of had to come to a
that's
point.
good.
Good. Yeah, good question. I would give you two types of tips. First is your inner tip, like how do you nourish yourself from your inner, like how do you nourish your soul, how do you nourish your mind so that you can project it to the outer world. And second is style and clothes and your outer beauty, right? To keep your mind happy, to keep yourself healthy, is a great form of self-respect. If you eat well, if you exercise well, if you take care of your body, it always reflects in the way you speak. It reflects in the way you, have conversations. So I think taking care of yourself comes first, and second is putting on your clothes, putting on your makeup, jewelry, etc. In my opinion, accessories is always helpful, even if it's the most mundane or the most basic shirt. Itya moi eta khub simple black shirt ta pinhi asu, but I have a little, jewelry on, which makes me feel a little more awakened. In terms of makeup, I've always embraced simple makeup, things that can make your skin breathe, a look that feels natural so that you come across as, your most authentic self. I really like that. But I also really love to look at people who, put makeup on or who put a glam on. It gives you so much self-confidence, isn't it? When you feel good, when you can walk the talk, you feel really great. So I think I really support that. In terms of style, again, some very basic staples must always be in your wardrobe. They include a great pair of fitting jeans. Poisa kharos koribo lage on a good pair of jeans and a great jacket. I think those are two things that you can just, always put on. And inside you can put on shirts, tank tops, whatever you want. But a good pair of blue jeans, a good pair of black jeans, and a nice jacket are staples in your wardrobe.
Fantastic. Love that, love that, love that totally. What did you say? Would you say that you should also make an effort for your hair? Because, hair really is a big part of the overall look. So
absolutely.
Would you add that?
Yeah, 100%. If people can afford going to a good dermatologist, I mean, it's not about affordability at the end of the day. It's about, to be honest, it's about seeking advice and then following that advice diligently. More opinionot at a bhal dermatologist, by a bhal dermatologist and bhal hairdresser is very important. It's a good investment because then you feel confident also. In terms of diet, don't eliminate, don't consume everything, but be conscious about what you should eliminate. In my opinion, sugar and dairy were causing a lot of skin problems or weren't giving me the best hair. So what I have done as a model is I've consciously eliminated things that don't work for me instead of eating everything. So I think
Yes.
that always works.
Good point. So just keep an eye what doesn't work for your body and eliminate.
And then get rid of it.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that. Coming to Tara. So, Tara, I want to quickly understand if you have observed any difference between the fashion industry in India, fashion industry outside India internationally. And also, I'm actually summing up the questions because of time. If someone wants to become a fashion designer, what are the things they should know? And if they want to approach the international market, how can they? I know lots of questions, but any insight that you can provide, I think will be quite useful.
One question. Bahut kita question eta question of Vitorat, but I'll try to go to get about Hunya question. Probably we might have to keep a part 2 of this program. Yeah, going to your question is how can one become a fashion designer? Because I'm not the right person because I've never been in a fashion technology. But if you know that it has to be a passion. It has to run into you. It has to run from you. Again, going back to fashion inclusivity, why the word I'm using instead of exclusive? Because if you are in, everything is in. So tumar nijor bhitorat, it has to run. That passion has to run. The dream has to be there to achieve that. And if you have the right dream and if you have the right passion, you can do anything in this world. There is nothing called impossible. first Hito. It doesn't have to be fashion designer. It can be anything, right? A model. Madhulika, a successful model, one of the most successful models I've ever known, actually. Um, আৰু তোমাৰ প্ৰথম কোৱেশ্চনটো কিবা কি আছিলে exactly? First question to তুমি সুধিছিলা very
মই সুধিছিলো যে yeah, so I asked whether you have
difference
seen
between
any
yeah
difference in the fashion
national
industry.
and of Indian market. Yes,
That's correct.
absolute a lot of difference, and that's where I faced a lot of challenges initially to get the right products out of the weavers. Hipini bilak iman dhunia tahator kam, kintu tahati mane finishing bur bhalke nokore. Our India market or global market or difference, one big difference is everything is good. Even a purse or a mekla chador or a sari, it's done perfectly well. But that little polishing and finishing that makes it international, and that makes the product a whole lot of difference. If it's a gown or if it's a lehenga, whatever you are wearing, kobat zipper to beya thakibo, you make a lovely product, and then if it's of no use, then those are some tips that I want to give, that whether it's a hipini prai hawk, whether it's the designer, whether it's the tailor, please make sure that the products are up to global standard, which is the finishing. Every little bit concerns. Even if it's a button, it should be the best button. Anything that it goes into that particular garment, not only the fabric, but everything that goes into that garment as a finished product should be up to the global standard, which is otherwise it will be rejected. It won't be allowed in this country at all.
Okay, I love that. I love that. So I think if anyone, because one of my questions was if anyone wants to approach and get into the international fashion market, how they do it. I think you have said it already, that make sure that every bit is to the detail. And otherwise, you said reject it. Absolutely. So that's one thing I wanted to hear from you. So thank you for that. And Himakshi, you have done done modeling in Assam, then you have done a bit in Bombay or Mumbai, then you spend a lot of time in Delhi as well. Let me mute this. And you have done projects internationally too. So what I want to know is, have you seen how the scenario changes in every market, every level, and what kind of realistic expectations models should set before they get into these different markets? I know many questions again, but
So the answer has to be a two-parter. Huh? So I will come to the first question. This is about this change in work scenario, like you mentioned. In Assam, I love working with the people I know, their familiar faces, and there is a sort of comfort zone. You are in your comfortable, environment, and when you work, say, abroad, or you work in a different city, you are pushed out of your comfort zones. You go to castings, to places you've never been before. You go to meet people you've never seen before. So there is a lot of, you are pushed to step out of your comfort zone, which I think is a good thing. And many a times you see that the work ethics differ. Like I love my Assamese 2-hour siesta. I have to tell you this. I love the long lunch breaks that we have during a shoot or a show in Assam. But you may not get that kind of luxury when you're working for somebody else. And the second question is, another thing I would like to add is that when you work in a different city or a country, you work with a variety of people from different backgrounds in life. You get to learn a lot about their culture, their food habits, what's impolite, what's polite for them. And then you sort of maintain a standard work ethic, which will probably serve you well, no matter where you work. So that's the first part of the question. And the second part is realistic expectations as a model. The second thing I tell anybody who asks me this is that you should prepare yourself for rejections, because there will be rejections no matter how tall, how short, skinny, curvy, or pale or brown you are, because like I said in the very first questions, you do not fit into everybody's idea of sellable or beautiful. And when you do get rejected, you should come home and not beat yourself up for not being good enough. You should rather say that, okay, I don't fit into the brand they are trying to sell, and there is nothing more to it. That's just about it. So these are my two tips that I would give somebody who's, looking to what to expect when you're beginning or starting out in the modeling industry.
Yeah, fantastic,
And
Himakshi.
I'd love to add, sorry, Himakshi, and here I'm
It's okay.
completely butting you off.
It's good.
Yes, but Himakshi, very, very well said. Just a quick little note. As someone who entered the industry at age 18, and you, I'm sure, entered very young in your life too, we had to embrace ourselves to prepare for conversations with 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, everyone of different backgrounds, different ages. So how do you see, as a model, you have to be very, very moldable. You have to be very adaptable. You have to understand people's moods, mindsets, cater to their liking, cater to their conversation. So I think that's very challenging, especially as someone at age 18 who's started very early on. And also a quick little footnote, you have to get ready for call times at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. You have to get ready to have a 12-hour shoot today where you have to look pretty at the 7 p.m. shot as well as at the 7 a.m. shot. No complaints. This industry is not about complaining at all. You have to get ready to dance on the top of a mountain and to swim in the cold, frigid waters. You have to brace yourself for everything.
Yeah, cool. There's so much there to. I think I love when you have spoken about accepting failure, because I think that's a big part, isn't it? The funny thing is, the companies are trying to sell their product through you. They don't care so much about you. I think it's nice to know sometimes that you're like the selling face, and failures will happen. And what you have said as well, because it's about
and
knowing
one
how
last
to
thing
deal.
I'd like to add is that
Go
always
ahead.
keep in mind that everybody is replaceable. So do not take this personally. It's not about you. Usually when you start out, you feel really demotivated by these hurdles that might come across your way. But eventually, at the end of the day, everybody's replaceable. It's not about you personally, and it's not you as an individual who's not good enough. That's what I would like to tell everybody who might be disappointed. Yeah.
Absolutely, because you are much more than that, isn't it? Life is so much more than that, just getting one opening, I suppose. Yeah. But such wonderful, tips and everything. Thank you for all of that. Now, listen, before we finish, my audience, people who watch this show regularly, I have got a couple of questions for you guys. They're very quick questions. So I'm going to ask, and I think it's more for fun. So I'm going to start with Garima, and I'll read them out. So for Garima, first question asked was, how would Garima rate Zubin's fashion sense between 1 to 10? So 10 being the best and 1 being the poorest. Let me unmute you. Yeah. What did you say, Garima?
8.
8. Where has he missed those 2 points? Not fair. What did you say?
Sometimes he goes very weird. Sometimes he goes very weird. He is very careless.
But you have said that fashion is about mood, right? So he may not be in the right mood then. So, okay, so Garima gives Zubin 8. There is one more question. One thing about Zubin that Garima loves, and one thing about him that is annoying to Garima.
Again, I would say he's very careless at times. He's like কেতিয়াবা একো কথা সি কেয়াৰে নকৰে মানে ঘৰৰ কাৰণে সেইটো মই সদায় সেইটো বস্তু মই বেয়া পাওঁ যিটো কথা কৈছো ফাৰ্ষ্ট মই বেয়া পোৱাটো কৈ লৈছো একেবাৰে সংসাৰী মানুহ নহয় গতিকে মই আমাৰ ঘৰৰ কাৰণে কিবা কৰিব লাগে সেই বস্তুবোৰ আৰু টাইমটো সদায় ক'ব মই 5 মিনিটত আহি আছো that 5 minutes stretches on to 50 minutes, কেতিয়াবা 5 days, 5 months হৈ যায়গে মানে এই 5 মিনিটত শুনিবলগীয়া কথাটো মই 5 মাহো ৰ'ব লগা হয়. So that thing I really don't like.
বিয়াৰ কিমান
And
বছৰ হা গৰিমা
বাকী সব মই ভালে পাওঁ.
বিয়াৰ কিমান বছৰ
Yeah, pardon? Biar.
Wow, so you know
18
how
years.
to deal with all of this now. Yeah, pretty awesome.
আৰু বাকী সব মই ভাল পাওঁ, বাকী একো কমপ্লেইন নাই, বাকী ভাল লাগে. He's very childish, he's very down to earth, very understanding advice. আৰু মানুহক খুব ভাল পায়, মানে অকল মানুহ বুলিয়ে নকওঁ, wild life, অন্য জীৱ জন্তু সকলো বিৰাট ভাল পায়. He's very emotional, very sensitive, very sensible. Art খুব ভাল পায়.
He's a
true artist.
Yeah, he's a true artist. That's why I think সংসাৰী মানুহ নহয় বুলি ক'লা যে. I think that's why it is. But thank you. More next question to হৈছে Himakshi কাৰণে. So Himakshi, so your first question is, did Himakshi, of course, because you have married a German man, so that's why this question, did Himakshi not find any suitable Indian boy that she married a German?
Okay. My first tip to this person who asked this question is that when it comes to love, we should really disregard nationalities, religion, community, because these things are very minor when you love somebody. So that's lesson number 1 for you. And lesson number 2 is, when I met my husband for the first time, he was in India, and by the time I got engaged to him, he was halfway Indian. He was integrated. He lived in India for 3 years. He loves Indian food, and technically now he knows how to make masor tenga. So I pretty much married somebody who's German, but is also very willing to blend into my culture, and that's what I love about him.
Awesome, brilliant. Now to me, tengor kotha koisa, so I have got my next question, and is it true that Himakshi's German husband gets to eat more khar and tenga these days at dinner than his sausages and mash?
Well, that's not entirely true. We love to experiment with different kind of foods, and but one part is, I have to admit, is that we both love authentic northeastern cuisine. We love masor tenga, like I mentioned. We love bahar gaj. And bamboo shoot and bhut jolokia. He eats more bhut jolokia than me. He eats bhut jolokia like it's nobody's business. I have these big bottles of pickle from my ma, junto moi telot bhitai thoisu, so that the bhut jolokia he can serve, along with rice and everything. So yes, we do eat a lot of northeastern and Indian cuisine also.
Awesome. So Ohomia hoise, he adha Ohomia, he's literally. But no, thank you. My next 2 questions are for Tara. So Tara, bottom question to her is, does Tara miss receiving her monthly salary check of a banker? Did you get me?
Yeah. Yes. That's an interesting question. Yes, I was in a very comfortable, cushy, and high salary job for many, many years. I used to miss it initially, but not anymore. I'm just into what I am. Moi birat bhal lagise moi junto profession, where the space I am in right now, I think it's the best space for me at this point of time. So I don't miss anything other than what I'm doing. If I would stop doing this, then absolutely I'll miss it.
And the next question is, does Tara keep prices of her outfits higher for Indian clients, knowing they will bargain anyways, even if they are a millionaire?
No, I always... No, that's a very interesting question as well. Yes, my garments are starts at a particular range, but again, the quality matters. If it's good quality, I always try to give whatever is the cost. But then again, I'm not a mass producer. I'm a niche producer. An elite, from luxury to elite is what our fabrics are, if you have noticed, right? Anyway, even if it's a Hadharan Mekla Sador Holo, there is a price to it. Garima will agree to that. It is hand woven. These are exclusive materials, not run of the mills, right? We start from the scratch, from the weavers, and comes to the finishing. I have a factory in Delhi, in Chapulja, Delhi. So everything goes out of my factory, which is based in Delhi. And I have an office in Toronto as well. That's my hometown. Now, going to the negotiation of Indians, I never negotiate. I give the best price to them. If somebody is really passionate, like the other day, the client said, like, I really want to wear a tarabuya, but I cannot afford one. Can you help me? Yes, I am there to help. Anybody to look good, I will be there.
You said it, Tara. Now, audience has heard you. So, no, awesome. That's brilliant. Thank you, Tara. And finally, I have got questions for Madhulika. So, does Madhulika do chocolates, desserts, and Indian mithais? I think you have said it already, but go ahead.
Yes, a lot of all of those.
Don't believe you, but
A lot.
okay.
Yes. Oh my God, I wish I could show you my fridge. I am a very passionate cook as well as a passionate foodie. I love to explore new food and all kinds of
So
food.
yes to that. And now this is $1 million question, and I hope you will be truthful. Is Madhulika dating anyone right now?
Yes, she is. Yes.
Perfect. That's good news. Okay. Awesome. Hey, listen, to all of you, thank you so much. I had such great fun. And I think you guys have really shared some valuable information, which anyone can take away. So thank you for that as well. And personally, from my side, I think it amazes me for all the great work that you guys are doing, the drive to do great work with passion. So thank you for all of that. And yeah, before we say goodbye, so do take care of yourself. And hopefully I'll see you guys sometime somewhere.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having us. You were such a wonderful host. Thank you
Oh,
for all your
God, no.
questions, your patience, for conducting, the entire conversation of almost an hour and a half so beautifully. So thank you.
Oh God, thank you, Madhulika.
Fantastic. Kept us engaged
Yes.
completely,
And
Hiramani.
to all my other
Really
panelists,
beautiful.
thank you. Such a
Thank
pleasure
you.
meeting you all virtually. Hope we can meet
Thank you,
physically
everyone.
after
you,
all.
It's an
Irani.
honor. Thank you for having
Yes.
me, and I hope we can
Thank
do
you.
this on one more time. Maybe this
I
time
would
was not
love
enough.
to. Would love to.
Yeah. Hope to
Correct.
meet soon.
Absolutely, Garima. Will do. And take good care
Bye
for
to
now.
everybody who's watching.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye. Bye.
All right. So that brings us to the end of today's show. As you could see, that through creativity, through their passion, they're letting people dream and making people happy, what they wear. And while doing that, they're also bringing Assam to the limelight. Their creations are, as you could hear, not just bound by commercial intentions, but it depicts Assam's culture, heritage, its traditions, and history. They are proud Assamese, but more importantly, Assam and people of Assam are proud of them. With that, thank you for watching today's show. Thank you to the Sentinel as well. Sending you best wishes for a healthy and a happy life. To look after yourself, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.